All right, friends, let's talk about the new news with your man, Lil Uzi Vert. If you are not familiar with him for some reason, Lil Uzi Vert is one of the most popular rappers of the last, 6 or 7 years. I think his kind of big moment was back in 2016. He was part of the Freshman XXL Cypher, the God tier. It was him, Lil Yachty, Denzel Curry, and Kodak Black, right? Oh, 21 Savage, that's right. Since then, I think pretty much everybody in that cypher has gone on to become super successful. I think out of that cohort, I think Uzi is probably the most popular and most relevant of them. If you haven't heard of him, which, I know that a lot of you metal people live under a rock, so maybe you haven't heard of him, but just to give you an idea of how popular he is, he has, as of right now, 39 million monthly listeners on Spotify. That is how popular Lil Uzi Vert is. And if you're wondering, what kind of a name is Lil Uzi Vert? Well, if you say it kind of fast, it sounds like Lucifer, right? Lucifer, Satan, the devil. What you may not know about him, I think, a lot of people know it now. You're asking, why does this man have this hair? What's up with those Liberty spikes like a punk rocker? Well, the answer is that Lil Uzi Vert is indeed a rocker. You may call him a fake rocker. You might say, Lil Uzi Vert, you're not a real rocker. The only real rocker in this room is me. Even though we're not in the same room together, you're a fake rocker, I'm a real rocker. You might say that. But in matter of fact, I want to point out, Lil Uzi Vert has been a confirmed rocker for a long time. And also, I'd like to thank Factor for sponsoring this video. If you're busy with summer plans and you still want to eat well, which you should, then check out Factor. They make nutritious, chef-prepared meals delivered straight to your door that are ready in just 2 minutes. That means you can skip the trip to the grocery store and all the chopping and the prep and the cleanup and all that, while still getting the flavor and nutrition that you need. And if you eat out a lot, it's also a great way to save money. It's way cheaper than takeout or even worse, delivery, which honestly I think is just a complete ripoff and a waste of money. Sorry. And they also have a ton of options like Calorie Smart, which is less than 550 calories per serving, Protein Plus, which has over 30 grams of protein, vegan and veggie, and their fancy new surf and turf options. Personally, I love that I don't have to think about what to make for lunch. I can just go downstairs, pick something out of the fridge, and I know that it's going to taste great and I will still hit my macro goals. So if you want to check out Factor, and I genuinely think you should, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code FIN50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Lil Uzi Vert has been a confirmed rocker for a long time. For example, back in 2018, there's video of him moshing. He went to go see Lorna Shore and the Faceless way back in 2018. And remember, this is 3 years before Lorna Shore blew up. They were like, I don't want to say nobodies at the time, but like Lorna Shore were not popular back then. It's kind of hard to make out, but so there's probably, I don't know, 30 people or something here. And he's in here front and center moshing to Lorna Shore. They're playing with the Faceless also. Yeah, before Will Ramos, that's right. This is when I think it was CJ then, I don't remember. But point being, his credentials are legit. You can like him or not like him. But the point is, I've been saying for a long time that rappers were going to save rock. And I think that Lil Uzi Vert has done that with this album. And I will tell you why. So what I want to establish here is exactly how popular Lil Uzi Vert is, and also that his status as a confirmed certified rocker goes back many years, so that you understand what a big deal it is that someone of his caliber, who's like legitimately like an A-list rapper, is showing love to not just rock, but like actual legit metal bands with this album. What am I talking about? Well, you probably heard a lot of people, I think, a lot of rock fans, or metal fans, I should say, their introduction to Lil Uzi Vert came a couple weeks ago when Bring the Horizon did Amen with him and Daryl from Glassjaw, because, with all due respect, I say this out of love, but a lot of metal people live under a rock. So like, who is this Lil Uzi Vert guy? Why is he collaborating with Bring Me the Horizon? Well, again, let's see, just to give you some perspective here. Let's see, 39 million monthly listeners, and Bring the Horizon is what? 14 million. So, judging just by Spotify listeners, which is, that's not the only metric, but he is over twice as popular as Bring Me the Horizon, judging by that standard. Bring Me the Horizon, not really a mainstream band. You guys know that I think they're an awesome band. I have a ton of respect for them, but not really mainstream. Lil Uzi Vert is as mainstream as it gets. And so they did this song together, which I wasn't surprised by, because I'm sure that he's a fan of, he's probably been a fan of Bring Me the Horizon since high school or something. My only surprise is that it took this long for this to happen. And I think it's kind of interesting. This is like the heaviest thing that they had done in years. And it also had Lil Uzi Vert on it, which I think is pretty interesting. Although I will say, I think his feature on this is pretty disappointing. Here's Uzi's feature on this, which I found kind of disappointing. Like, this feature is like 4 bars long or something. It's like, it's over before you even realize what's happening, but it's still cool that it happened. It just feels as if Uzi could give 2 shits about his verses now. Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. I have no idea, I don't know what it's like to work with him, but, rappers are not known for being super reliable or great to work with in the studio. So my guess, and I have no idea if this is true, but my guess is that, they were sort of hoping to get something more from him. But it's probably like, well, that's what he sent us. That's what he's going to do. You can't force someone like Uzi to do something he doesn't want to do. So it's probably like, well, he sent us this kind of half-assed 8 bars. Well, I guess we're going to work with it. Now, what nobody knew, I was not shocked to see a collab between Uzi and Bring Me the Horizon. We've all known that he was like a core kid, a scene kid for a long time. But what I was not expecting was for them to feature on his album, because this has been one of the most highly anticipated albums for years. So for them to feature on his album was something that I did not expect and is a pretty big deal for the world of rock. So let's check that out. This is Werewolf by Lil Uzi Vert featuring Bring Me the Horizon. Although I gotta say, I feel like Bring Me the Horizon kind of carried this one. It feels like a Bring Me the Horizon song with another kind of half-assed Lil Uzi Vert feature, in my opinion. Exactly. This album really felt like an event dropping. Exactly. Like, it's been a while since an album felt like an event, right? Like, it's like Taylor Swift, like even Drake and 21 Savage did that album that just kind of like slipped out and it didn't feel like an event. This is one of the few albums that really felt like an event of the past few years. So this is Werewolf, which, in my opinion, I think it's a fine song, but it feels like Bring Me the Horizon is doing all the work here, to me. Oh, witness me. He's definitely not great at rock vocals. I mean, it's like nu metal, right? Sounds Deftonesy, it does. It's very nu metal. It's not bad. I mean, I don't think it's amazing. Like, this doesn't really sound like an Uzi song, right? It sounds like a Bring Me the Horizon song where like Uzi went in the studio and they like put a mic in front of him and he sort of tried to do rock vocals and they looked at each other like, what in the fuck? But they didn't want to like piss him off or like bum him out. So like, yeah, mate, sounds great. Yeah, good stuff, man. And they're like, oh, Jesus, this is bad. Like, I don't think this song is great. But I agree with this. No matter what, it feels like rock fans should encourage music like this, as this is the only way rock can survive in the mainstream as of now. That's exactly how I feel about this. Like, I think this is mid at best. But again, Uzi is a huge rapper. This album felt like an event. And for him to have Bring Me the Horizon on the album is pretty amazing. Although I gotta say, my personal favorite part of it is this. The beginning. This is the first song on the album. For anybody who doesn't know, Lil Uzi Vert has been accused of being, I don't know, gay or fruity or whatever for a long time. And, you can sort of understand why, because, he dresses like this sometimes, which is... you can understand why people, might say that about him. He is a little bit fruity. It's true. And that's nothing wrong. Well, actually, I've been saying he, but my understanding is that Uzi goes by they, them pronouns. So my apologies for that. I believe that's the case. So, you're a rapper that dresses like this, which to be fair, Young Thug and Playboi Carti and some of the other kind of more forward-thinking rappers these days are kind of doing this too. But in any case, Uzi seems to not love being called gay or fruity or whatever, because the first song on the album, Flooded the Face, amazing first line in the song. You'll hear it in a second. The first actual line on the album. Right here. First of all, I fuck 8 bitches a day. How could you say the Uzi is gay? Coming in hot. Don't want no pussy, want oral today. He's letting it be known what his preferences are. Also, this is a pretty good one too. The song Suicide Doors, which I think a lot of people are saying is the best song on the album. I would agree with that. This is pretty good. It's got an intro here. I think this is Charleston White. You can see Uzi seems to not really like being called fruity.
My right hand to God, I ain't never heard a Uzi Vert song that I can say that's Uzi Vert, but I know he a sissified looking nigga that put fingernail polish on his motherfucking nails and wear dresses.
I like this song okay, but to me this is just like kind of derivative of Cardi.
Fuck you and fuck your bitch. I don't give a
fuck you and fuck your bitch.
I feel like bitch, I'm a crow. Whoa! I feel like bitch, I'm a crow.
I don't love it. I mean, I don't like Playboy Cardi. I respect Playboy Cardi. Yeah, it sounds like it should have been on Die Lit. Exactly. Yeah, it just to me sounds kind of like, I mean, everyone's ripping off Cardi these days, but the song that everyone's talking about is his cover of Chop Suey by System of a Down. Well, I'll play it for you, and then you can hear what people are saying about it. I'll just say the original is bad. The cover is even worse. It's not great. It's rough. This is rough. Cover your ears, people. It's rough. Sounds like drunk karaoke, it does. Wake up! I don't think you trust in my... But you know what's funny? You guys are all saying how terrible this is and like that it makes your ears hurt. But to me, this is like, you know, the meme of Pam from The Office where it's like corporate wants you to see the differences between these two pictures and she says they're the same picture. That's how I feel. And people are like, oh, this is terrible. It's so much worse than the original. I'm like, but is it? Here's what people are saying. So Surge from System of a Down tweeted, covers are always the biggest compliment to artists and songwriters. That's a nice way of him saying this sucks, but I don't want to say it sucks, I think. A few people said good things about it, but a lot of people mostly not into it. It's a shame that so many people will hear Chop Suey by System of a Down for the first time as a Lil Uzi Vert cover. I feel insulted at how bad it is. Well, I got bad news for you, B-Corn. The original, maybe 10% better. Maybe, at best. Shit keeps happening to where I need to speak on it publicly. I don't know who Alex Smith is, but apparently people demanded that he make a statement on this. Lil Uzi Vert, it's awesome that you enjoy hard rock and wanted to pay homage to System of a Down. What you put onto a recording instead was a wilderness-like abortion. I mean, not wrong. Not wrong. It's pretty bad. There's absolutely no one, and I mean that wholeheartedly, that wanted Lil Uzi Vert to cover Chop Suey by System of a Down. Why did they do this? Well, that's where I disagree with. I think that even if this song isn't great, you know, reality is Uzi is really, really, really fucking famous, and he's relevant with an audience that might not be familiar with this stuff. So I actually think it's a very good thing that he did the cover, even if it sucks. But I kind of agree with this. Garbage Boy says, so someone named Lil Uzi Vert. This is what I'm talking about. These like clueless fucking metal people. It's like someone named Lil Uzi Vert. Some guy named Justin Bieber. Some guy named Lil Uzi Vert with 40 million Spotify listeners. That's 10% of the entire population of the United States. Someone named Lil Uzi Vert covered Chop Suey by System of a Down, and it's one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. It says a lot when you use auto-tune for the vocals and still can't get it remotely in the correct key. Isn't that the point of auto-tune? I kind of agree with that. It does sound pretty bad. And I kind of wonder, isn't that the point of auto-tune? What were his instructions to the mixer? Like, just turn random knobs? Like, I don't know. Nobody knows what's going on in the mind of Lil Uzi Vert, because remember, this is the same guy that at one point got a $24 million diamond implanted in his forehead. So that kind of tells you where his head is at, which is God knows what is going on inside his brain. Who knows? Uzi, who knows what he said in the studio? Who knows what instructions he gave him? But I think we can all agree, as much as I like to try to see the positives in these things, maybe not the best song in the world. He also did a song with Babymetal, which is very surprising. I did not have Lil Uzi Vert and Babymetal on my bingo card, that's for sure. Lil Uzi Vert has a lot of yes men around him, that's for sure. And again, this feels like a Babymetal song featuring Lil Uzi Vert, not the other way around. But again, if someone like him calls you up and is like, yeah, well, you write a song for me and I'm going to spend 5 minutes doing a feature and you're going to give it to me for my album and sign all the rights away to me, you're like, not a problem. When do you need it? So even though I think these are kind of bad and like one-sided features where it feels like he didn't really do much, I mean, who's going to say no to that? You know, oh, co-written by a member of Pale Dusk. Okay. Sounds pretty good. I mean, obviously it's Babymetal is the part that sounds good. Sounds good. Not bad, right? Sounds like Babymetal. I actually like this. I think this is good. It is fun. It's pretty cool. This is like one of the better Babymetal songs in a long time, actually. The newer Babymetal stuff to me is too butt rock. This sounds like old Babymetal, which I actually think is really good. And then here's kind of another half-assed feature. My disappointment here is like, Uzi used to be so good. This was his breakthrough song, EXO Tour Life, from back in 2017, September 2017. Like, this song is fucking great. Like, what happened to Uzi? Like, how did he get, like, worse in 5 years? This is a great song. Great melodies. Great lyrics. It's still weird, but, like, it's super catchy and cool. I feel like, I'll tell you what it is. I feel like Playboi Carti ruined rap. Everybody decided, you know, whatever, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, yeah, I think we're just past this era of rap post Whole Lotta Red. Exactly. After Whole Lotta Red came out, everyone decided they wanted to be Playboi Carti and sound like they're on fucking helium with their, like, rage beats and shit. And, like, I'm not the biggest Carti fan, but, you know, that's Carti. Like, we don't need another Carti. You know what I mean? We don't need 500 Cartis. We already have one Carti. So as cool as it is that Uzi did these features with these rock artists, and I think that's like a big moment for rock, in my personal opinion, I think this album is kind of a letdown to me as a Lil Uzi Vert fan, because it just sounds like somebody listened to too much Playboi Carti. That's what I think. But still, I would say this is like the biggest moment for metal in many years, right? I mean, like, what is a bigger moment for the genre of metal than System of a Down, Babymetal, and Bring Me the Horizon either being covered by or collaborating with one of the biggest rappers out right now on one of the biggest albums of the year? Like, I don't think there's anything bigger than that that's happened, probably, I'm sorry, but probably since MGK. I know everyone hates MGK, and, you know, I'm not necessarily a big fan of either, but the point is, I'm excited to see this happen, even though I think the album kind of sucks. It's still cool that it happened, and tell you what, put down your torches and pitchforks, and even if you think this kind of sucks, you know, just be happy that it happened, because a rising tide lifts all boats, and millions of people who had never heard of Bring Me the Horizon, System of a Down, or Babymetal now know of those artists, and it's because of Uzi. So even though it sucks, I say thumbs up. We need more of this. Lil Uzi Vert has been a confirmed rocker for a long time.